how we deal with the anniversaries of lost loved ones and whether we sometimes feel pressure to mark them. Now, Colleen, I know this is something that you've personally experienced.
Yeah, I mean, every year, Bernie passed away on the 4th of July. And every year on that date or on her birthday, there's always, you know, my family included, all post things on social media. You know, whether it's pictures and remembering her, and I do get, you know, lovely people messaging me saying, thinking of you today and all that. Now, I don't particularly think of July the 4th. I think of Bernie, like I've said before, out of the blue on any day of the year. I don't need a special day to remember her because I've never forget her.
Yeah.
However, I don't always need to, for me, I don't need to be reminded of the sadness of losing her every year. But I know, you know, my sister Linda, she, with her husband especially, I mean, that's got to be 12 years, 11 or 12 years now, and it's his birthday, it's the day he went into hospital, it's the day he died, it's Christmas, it's constant. And I kind of want to go, you're not letting yourself move on.
She's still grieving.
But I think some of it is guilt. They feel if they do that, people are going to go, oh, you didn't love them, or they're going to be judged, and you're not going to be judged. You know, people grieve differently and in their own way.
I think what's happened with social media is that people comment on death so much more. So whenever anyone dies now, there's like a flurry on social media, you know, oh, isn't it terrible, this person's passed away, and then it carries on, it can continue. And it's so much quicker and easier to mark all these things on social media. I mean, I agree with you. I've lost my mum, my dad, my sister, and my, you know, my nephew, and yet I consciously don't want to remember the actual day it happened because I find that too restricting.
Yeah.
In my home, I've got photos of loved ones who have passed away, of friends and so on, and I keep all those photos, but I've also got a special place in my head.
Yeah.
And things happen, you know, you might go to a place you love walking with your sister, or a friend, or my friend Jonathan who died, and I think, oh, I came here with them, and then something brings back happy memories, but I don't want the actual day marked because I think they're worth more than that.
Yeah. So we've got Catherine's tweeted in. She's put, I talk to my late husband every day, more so on his anniversary and birthday and on our wedding anniversary. I don't think I really felt grief when he died, just a horrible shock. You learn to cope with your grief in different ways at different times. Just find help if you need it. Never feel guilty about that. And I do understand what they mean about guilt, because when my dad died suddenly, I was 28, and it was sudden and it was a shock, and I didn't cry for a really, really long time afterwards, but I did feel guilty because you're expected to cry. You've just lost your dad, but I just didn't feel that. It was just a complete shock.
Yeah.
But we're not a family that celebrate many things anyways, but to all of a sudden come out and start marking his anniversary of his death, that would be so weird for us.
Yeah.
So we remember it in a very different way. And I remember my dad, you know, you talked about the nice things.
Yeah.
So for us, Ramadan was the end of Ramadan, the end of fasting. Dad used to go to the mosque, the only time he ever did, with my brothers, come back, and, you know, it's the only time he actually ever gave me a hug, because he was so happy on that day. And I remember that more than, you know, touching his gold body and just feeling, oh, my goodness, what's happened?
It always makes me think as well, and makes me wonder what we did before social media.
Yeah.
And who we're doing it for now. Is it just to please everybody else? I don't know.
What do you think, going back to, obviously, Prince William going out to meet well-wishers, obviously, people are doing it for a mixture of reasons. They're going to the palace for themselves because they felt a connection to his mother, but some of them will be doing it as a mark of respect to her children.
I think it's, you use this word well-wishers, and I really don't think that's a kind of appropriate. I find it a very weird thing, personally, to go to Kensington Gardens and to stand there on her birthday. I mean, there are all sorts of things that Princess Diana did during her life which were extraordinary, like being photographed with HIV-positive people. That was amazing. So let's celebrate all these different aspects of her life, just not the day she died or the day the accident happened or the day of her birthday. Or I mean, where will it all
But they're
end?
also, but by doing that, they're forcing him to remember, aren't
I know,
they?
and
Like, he's got to come out
Because
to the
if he
date.
doesn't, they might think he's heartless.
There
the
you
press
go.
will go, oh, he didn't even come out. That's what I mean.
Absolutely.
It's like pressure.
Absolutely.
Into...
And I feel for them because they may not necessarily want to remember that day like that.
And I'm sure that there are people watching today who are, you know, on the anniversary of the death of their partner or their close family will feel the need to grieve. But they shouldn't feel the need, as Colleen has said, to respond to the outside world. They should be able to grieve on their terms.
Yeah.
Absolutely. What you said's been echoed here as well on the comments.
And it's interesting, obviously, Sarah, you were saying that you didn't cry for quite a long time. Sharon said, I was told by my aunt that I was heartless because I didn't cry at my mum's funeral. I had cried endlessly in the lead up to it, and I was all cried out by the time it came. I felt I needed to keep it together, firstly for my dad and for my kids. I think as well, we all grieve in very different ways. I remember when my grandparents died, my mum is a very together person, and she cried a little bit, but what she said to us was, just because I don't show it doesn't mean I don't feel it.
Exactly.
And I think that's something that we all have to bear in mind, and don't project our own ways of doing things onto other people. It's the
Well,
height of
Anne
selfishness.
is a perfect example. She says here, my son died recently and I amazed myself how strong I was getting everything arranged. Now I feel so guilty. I didn't fall to pieces. I mean,
No.
Ridiculous.
I know.
No, I think Miranda sums it up really well, actually. Thank you, Miranda, for getting in touch. It's up to the individual. Do what's right for yourself and not do what others think.
exactly.